Of course, this is not financial advice and for entertainment purposes only. Investors, yes, I in fact invested $1,000 into ULTY, the Ultra Option Income ETF by YieldMax with a super high yield of over 85%. So a super high yield. I've been seeing so many videos of people buying ULTY saying it's good, it's bad, it's great, it's horrible, it's too good to be true, it's a scam, it's a great product. So in this video, we're gonna see if I actually made money or even lost money. Alright guys, so I invested in ULTY about 83 days ago, so almost 3 months now. Now my average cost basis is $6.23. Now for my challenge of the results, I dripped every single distribution, every single week, no matter what happened. So I didn't wait, I just automatically dripped the income back into ULTY. Once again, I also did in fact lump sum this money, so I just bought it, forgot about it, dripped the distributions. Now the minute I bought it, ULTY just dropped like a rock, which was normal and honestly expected for a super high income fund like this product by YieldMax. So I bought it and then automatically, literally it went down like a rock, which was unfortunate, but my unrealized return is negative $119.19 or negative 9.92%. So basically got this money, put it into ULTY, and lost some of my principal, which was normal because this does not include the income or the distributions at all. My total shares are 193 plus shares. Now, am I mad about losing money on my principal? No, because people get so mad about ULTY having like NAV erosion, all these YieldMax products having NAV erosion, and it's gonna be like a thing with these high income products. Are you expecting the 80%, 90%, 70% yield to just hold up with a positive green chart? No. The pros and cons of ULTY are a weekly income, or should I say high income, of about an 85% yield, stable distributions around 8 to 9 cents, and income that could outperform the NAV erosion or the share price decline. So that share price decline, NAV erosion can be beaten by the income that ULTY produces from the cover call writing against the underlying holdings. The cons are pretty obvious. NAV erosion, where I lost about negative 9.92% or 119 plus dollars, still high downside, as well as a capped upside, and this is not a growth play. So people think that, okay, I'm gonna buy ULTY and beat the S&P 500, beat VOO, beat the NASDAQ 100. And honestly, I don't think that in the long term that is sustainable, that is likely that this will be a thing that just always beats the market. I think that this is pretty a cycle and can be done in short periods of time, but not over the long term. That's just my hot take, but there are definitely pros and cons to ULTY. And I would say that the cons also is high risk. Yes, this is high risk, super high IV, a lot of NAV erosion, NAV decline. It's going to be like super volatile on the share price, and people should expect super high risk when investing in ULTY. Now, before we move on, I want to talk about one stock to keep on your radar, and that's going to be Atlas Lithium, listed on the NASDAQ, ticker symbol ATLX. ATLX has institutional shareholders like BlackRock, Jefferies, and Invesco, just to name a few. They also have analysts that are covering the stock that are also very bullish on ATLX. Atlas Lithium Corporation is a US-based mineral exploration company with the largest size and breadth of exploration projects for strategic minerals in Brazil. ATLX intends to be a leader in the provisioning of minerals essential to the transformation of the global energy from fossil fuels to electrification, a process which is expected to take decades. Over the last several years, Atlas Lithium has assembled Brazil's largest portfolio of lithium mineral rights among publicly listed companies. Here's a list of summary highlights of one of their top projects where they are positioned to be a very low-cost producer. They have expedited time to production. They have the largest hard rock lithium exploration portfolio in Brazil, proven potential for high-quality lithium concentrate, and a great management team and a tier 1 lithium supply chain buyers sourcing product. One of the main takeaways from ATLX is that they can benefit from the growing demand for lithium and even lithium-ion batteries. Low-cost production is also a key to long-term success, especially with ATLX. Once again, keep ATLX on your radar and watch list if you believe in the growing demand for lithium and lithium-ion batteries, as well as have a higher risk tolerance and are willing to do your own research. Now let's get back to the video. Alright guys, so I bought ULTY on June 24th, 2025, about 83 days ago. So I bought ULTY at all-time highs for the total return. So the income plus the share price was positive 18.29%, where the price return was negative 4.84%. Let's segue to the end result. Now 83 days later, I in fact made money with ULTY, factoring in back in the income or the distributions into my purchases of ULTY every single week from dripping the distributions. Now on the 6-month chart, we're seeing a positive return for ULTY on the total return. So income plus share price is 28.43% in the green. Once again, we're going to see ULTY's NAV erode over time, so negative 14% erosion, which is fine because once again, these high income products will have NAV erosion, whether it's YieldMax and other issuers, because of the super high income that probably can't outpace the investment returns from the underlying holdings, whether it be the income or even the movement of the underlying holdings to the green. Now, if we subtract my end result with my initial result, I'm actually in the green, or should be in the green, about 10%. That is actually beating the S&P 500 ETF VOO by Vanguard by 0.52%. So in fact, I actually made money investing in ULTY over this time period. Let's factor back in the weekly income from ULTY. So technically I should be up like 10% from ULTY, but we're going to see if I actually am up 10% because that's all dependent on like the initial day I bought it, the exact price from the open and the closing and intraday. And so we should be at least in the green. I tallied it all up. I made $202.96 in total weekly distributions over 83 days investing in ULTY. So I made over $200+ in distributions and income from investing in ULTY, which outpaced my NAV erosion or my share price decline of negative $119.19 investing in ULTY. So my distributions outpace my share price loss. My total return is positive $83.77 or 8.37% for my total return, which was awesome. So I actually made money investing in ULTY, which is great. So I actually was in the green, which was once again, like I was not expecting that from ULTY because I bought at all-time highs for ULTY. So yes, I made money despite NAV erosion. Now, is NAV erosion bad? I would say depends on the fund, but for ULTY, I would say it's going to be expected. Maybe NAV erosion, maybe a reverse split, who knows? But that's actually awesome that if you factor in the income, you are in the green with ULTY versus like maybe Misty or even other products that YieldMax has, because of the way that YieldMax operates ULTY, which was super awesome to see. So I'm super happy with the performance of ULTY so far. Let's go to the fun facts about ULTY. Now, investing $1,000 in ULTY pays me 11 cents per hour, which was not a lot of money. $1,000 in ULTY pays me $2.56 daily. It also pays me over $77.93 monthly, and as well as $935.18 every single year, which is a pretty cool fact about investing $1,000 in ULTY. What's going to be the total return for ULTY in the future? Now, in my opinion, it could be positive for the total return, not the share price return, the total return with the dividends, distributions, or the income from the covered calls. Now, analysts project an over 10.21% upside in the next 12 months from the NASDAQ 100, which is crucial because YieldMax says that the NASDAQ 100 has similar vol to ULTY. So hopefully if ULTY could perform well, only if the market performs well, Now, YieldMax always says ULTY will perform well if the market goes up. So if the market goes up, I think ULTY can also perform well. But if the market goes down, ULTY will perform very, very horribly. My prediction is that ULTY by YieldMax will have more NAV erosion in the future and a potential reverse split on the table because honestly, like if we're paying so much income, we're gonna have NAV erosion. It's just bound to happen. And maybe a reverse split from the share price going down over time. Don't believe me? Hear it from Michael Ko from YieldMax on the potential reverse split of ULTY in the future right now.
Investors asked me to ask you if ULTY will have a reverse split in the future because they think that ULTY's holding super strong at $5 a share, $6 a share. And they also want to know if ULTY's NAV will be stable in the future. And I know that market conditions can vary, distributions vary.
It's clear that investors don't like the reverse splits, as I previously said. And as I also previously said, I think people are getting a little bit too concerned about that. Focus on your total returns. I can't say it's off the table because there might be a circumstance where, it does make sense. I mean, let's just say for the sake of argument, ULTY, which is trading around $5.75 right now, provided enormous distributions, but traded down to $1 within the next 6 to 12 months. That has implications because it might just look unattractive as a single dollar stock or a single dollar ETF. So I can't say that it's completely off the table. Obviously, the investment team is going to have to decide what they want to do about that if we come to that. And like I said before, there are other considerations. We're trying to avoid those reverse splits simply because we know that they're unappealing to some as much as possible. I'm not going to say it's completely off the table. But remember what these funds are doing, and that is that they're trying to distribute as much as they can, as the name would imply, YieldMax. So if you're always making these big distributions and you're also giving people, for example, options premium, interest income, if and when and where you might get that, or some capital appreciation in instances where you have that as well, you put all of these things together, factor that in. So those things are going to end up having an impact. That's probably a decision that's going to be made by Mike Venuto and Jay and Scott if and when the time comes. NAV stability is, it is an objective, but it's not the objective. The objective is total returns and maximizing distributions. And, these other things are issues we deal with if we have to.
In my opinion, I think ULTY is great for hybrid investing. So growth plus income. But I think that ULTY fits in a portfolio that is diversified and also has other positions where ULTY could be a lower position in a well-diversified portfolio. Just my opinion, is super high risk, it's super volatile, and overall, I think ULTY, you're going to be like freaking out overnight if ULTY's NAV just erodes and just dies off. I think ULTY can be great as a complement, once again, to a well-diversified portfolio with other ETFs like blocks, like SPYI, like QQI, TSPY, TDAC, etc., even WPay by Roundhill. So many other products can be paired great with ULTY and not just all in on ULTY. Now, if you guys like this video, please give it a like because this cute puppy did. And don't forget guys to check out our last video with YieldMax's Michael Ko, a full interview about SOLTY and ULTY by YieldMax. I love you guys so much. Crushing the stock market and take it easy. Peace.